Ugh. Well, crap. I'm too short to get out of here. Hello? Hello, Mr. Nice Trash Man. I may have fallen into the huge dumpster, actually scaled to my body, so I can't get out by myself. Hello? Perhaps there's a nice raccoon who could come in here for a little booster to get up there. Anybody? Nope. I am trapped in a trash bin. Oh, hello there. Well, I'm surrounded by garbage, so I should probably talk about a film that involves a lot of garbage. But fun garbage. And that studio is Troma. From the 80s and the 90s, and technically still around, who produced a wide variety of films that are mostly bad and offensive on purpose to get a rise out of people. And that was basically their entire brand for literally decades. And of all those films, there are quite a few, they really only had one noteworthy franchise occur. And that would be, of course, Sergeant Kabuki Man. No, I'm kidding. Toxic Avenger. The Toxic Avenger series, which a weirdly long-lasting franchise that started with a zero-budget movie with a amusing premise that was kind of 3 movies plot-wise, but coalesced into a successful indie venture that produced sequels and a cartoon show. Back in the era to where the movie where someone's head gets crushed by a car tire and someone gets their face ripped off and someone gets their hand shoved in a deep fryer, among other horrific violence. That would get you a kid's cartoon show back in the 80s and early 90s. We've lost our way. Clearly, we need a revival of RoboCop, the TV series. There were like 5 or 6 RoboCop TV series or something like that. And some TV movies. Should I watch the RoboCop remake? No, I have better things to do than watch that. Like watching the subject of today's little video, the Toxic Avenger remake. Or if going by the title card in the movie, Toxic Avenger Unrated. Which, I feel like they may have originally planned just to dump this thing on video, made the title card, and then they surprisingly got a theatrical release and didn't fix it. Whoops. Anyway, so Toxic Avenger, the original one from 84, and Toxic Avenger 2025, now technically this is from 2023, this movie sat on the shelf finished for a couple of years actually, so sign of quality usually when that happens. These are 2 very, very different beasts. The new one only resembles the original in the fact that it's a basic premise of person gets dumped into toxic waste, becomes a toxic waste-themed superhero. They have that in common. How they get there, completely different between the 2 of them, and probably for the best. While I enjoy the original, it is a movie that is so deeply planted into the era and year it was created that it's not going to really be doable in a modern setting or modern day without just being completely rethought. Which is what this movie does, for better and for worse. I guess that's the bad I should say. Is this good? Is this living up to the Toxic Avenger name? It's fine. Is it bad? No. Is it great? No. Does it live up to the original? It's so different, it's hard to compare, honestly, beyond the bare basics. I say it has the correct spirit in mind, but I feel that it does not go far enough, which is really ironic considering it's a something trying to imitate a Troma movie. It hits a middle ground that it never really mostly gets past, which is fine as a watch, but I'm going to forget I saw this pretty quickly. There's only 1 or 2 really memorable jokes and gags and gore bits that stood out that I will remember in my brain case past, a month. I remember the original movie. I remember I've seen it not super recently, but I own it on Blu-ray. I've seen it plenty of times. It's pretty memorable. It's a weird little package with some really nasty gore. Really cheap gore, but good gore. This one, not as memorable. It's trying really hard And I appreciate the hustle it's doing. I appreciate the effort in here. I just don't think it coalesces into a complete package, as it were. So if you want to give this thing a try, don't wait you're not going to have to wait too long. I feel like this is going to be on a streaming thing, probably, I don't know, next week. It has that kind of feel to it. I feel that seeing this in the theater is going to be something I can point out and say, hey, I saw that in the theater decades ago. They're like, oh, what the hell is a theater? And then I will continue to turn into a skeleton, a living fossil of the 40-year-old furry. That's a parody. That's a parody I could make. No, I'm already very hairy. Waxing myself will be painful, very painful. Anyways, I should talk about this movie. So, the original version had a nerd get terrorized in a health club, knocked out a window, fall in the toxic waste, become a superhero, toxic man, then brutally murder everyone who did the initial bad thing to him, which is fine because they were all child murderers and other problems they did. And then after they're all dead, he kind of starts cleaning up the town via other murders. There's a lot of murder in that first movie. This new one, kind of a lot of murder too, but this one takes a completely different approach. Our setup this time is Peter Dinklage. Yes, folks, Mr. Game of Thrones, little man with the beard. Sometimes not a beard, usually with a beard, is our protagonist. So this movie has a weird amount of good actors in it, which is honestly kind of a highlight and a novelty considering this is a trauma-adjacent remake of the Toxic Avenger. Trauma movies never usually have real actors in them. I'm sorry, if you're in a trauma movie, you are probably not going to be a big-name star. I apologize. Directors, however, they tend to go on to big things, Mr. James Gunn. So, yeah, seeing a trauma-esque type thing with named actors, kind of weird. They feel like they're here for a fun time weekend for filming, which it probably was. This Kevin Bacon's was. He's mostly in like 2 sets for most of the movie and then outdoors. So, that's fine. Yeah, Kevin Bacon's in this. He's our main villain who's, I guess at this point, Kevin Bacon will only do your movie if he gets to play a sleazebag, which he's good at playing sleazebag, so, do what you're going to do. Peter Dinklage is our lead, and he is playing a janitor who works for evil business Toxic Waste Corporation. That's like a health industry / chemicals company. There's a few things going on here. While the original ones were kind of parodying the health club craze of the 80s, this is looking at the horrible situation of medical care and holistic medicine and that whole shtick of the pharmaceutical industry and healthcare in the States and all that stuff and how everything sucks horribly badly and has for a long, long time. Just looking at that. It works for what that is. Dinklage is playing a janitor who works at Evil Co here. He has a son that he's trying to care for. The son is, I'm not quite sure if he was meant to be just gay or autistic or not non-binary. It's kind of, they were kind of doing everything with the kid and they never said one way or the other for any of these, so I guess open to interpretation there. Fine. Dinklage is trying to do good by his kid. Unfortunately, he's gotten the super cancer in his head because of his workplace and has been poisoning the entire town and him for decades. He decides, I'm dying. Fuck it, I'm gonna rob him. And then he accidentally bumps into another person who is also doing corporate espionage. Shit happens. He gets thrown toxic waste. Bada bing, bada boom. Toxic Avenger. And after that, movie kind of find its footing a little better because the first half kind of taking itself seriously. Dinklage is actually, acting and doing what you'd expect for a Peter Dinklage role to be of single father, suffering, yada yada. It works fine. He's good. Too good for this movie? Maybe. Mileage will vary. Then, once we get to him actually being the Toxic Avenger, which is accomplished via a different actor or actress, I think it's an actress, in the suit with really good makeup effects to make them look like Dinklage, and the performer actually is mimicking Dinklage's mannerisms. And it's got the voice. Dinklage is doing the voice. It's a very convincing package. Although this also shows Dinklage was not willing to get into that horrible makeup and costume, so, lame. Anywho, good performance, though. Between the two of them, good performance. Once the key is actually the Toxic Avenger, the movie gets a little more even-footed to what it wants to be. I will say the movie has a problem of not really knowing what it wants to be. Because, again, the original, super rooted in what it was of the time. That era is very of its time. This one kind of is trying to do a few different things and never really excelling at any of them. It's kind of being a superhero parody with a few good jokes. It's doing its pharmaceutical and insurance industry shining a light on stuff, which biting, sure, but doesn't really do much beyond pointing at the thing and going, this is bad, which that's not hard to do. The gore is fine, but very CGI for a lot of it. Some good gags, though. If you're ever curious what the hell the Toxic Avenger's dick looks like, you're gonna find out. Very Thor-esque. If you're a furry, you get that joke. And if you're not, I have scarred you once you look it up. You're welcome. Again, the movie has its moments, but never gets past that middle ground of decent. The high notes are there, and you can tell that this was a lot of different people adding their own elements to this thing, because there's little biting hints of stuff at what this movie could have been, and it's really evident because it's Toxic Avenger, and the original Toxic Avenger, the first one and the fourth one, really. I'm not going to talk about the second and third because they're a long slog that's not great. First one was trying to offend everybody at the time. Fourth one, really trying to offend every single person possible in the universe. It had a point to just offend you, to get a rise out of you. That was its whole bag, that's what it was doing. And because of that, it had a very high note of nothing was sacred, everyone was a target for that movie. You got some really biting jokes, some really hard jokes that you I cannot repeat. Even though I make no money on these stupid videos, I would somehow get demonetized. I would lose money that I don't make from YouTube if I mention some of the shit that's in that fourth movie. Nope, not doing that. This is not strong. This movie is not nasty enough to do these jokes. It may put them on the sideline where you can spot them, like they revisit the infamous fast food joint hostage situation from the original, but now the robbers are a terrorist group who are upset that the fast food joint changed its logo and mascot from male to female, and they decided to attack the place with machine guns and start murdering people over that. Yeah, that joke writes itself at this point. Oh, we are in a current event hellscape. But that is that's a strong thing to work with there. That's a strong, biting thing to play with. Doesn't really do much with it beyond kind of setting it there and just not really pointing at it, even just kind of like having it sit there. Which you can do, but you gotta have something to work with there, and just past the basics of that, it doesn't really do much. Same things happens with pharmaceutical jokes to a degree. Same things happens with some family type stuff that's in there. And considering it never doesn't really go far enough with a lot of its jokes or a lot of what it's doing in its content, the whole thing feels kind of toothless. Not bad, but toothless. Not the dragon, just lacking in the bite that it should have. The bite the older ones had, unfortunately. So yeah, it's kind of a disappointment in my opinion. It's not bad, and as a actual movie, in terms of like a movie, this feels like a movie. Looks better, has a proper movie structure, has actual actors in it. As a movie, it's a better movie than the originals. But as an experience, as a memorable thing, it doesn't quite hit the mark for me. Sorry, Trauma, not Trauma. It is what it is. If you want something that I feel is actually reminiscent of what this movie should have been, watch Hobo with a Shotgun. That is the closest modern-ish thing that I can think of that hits that correct mark of what this was trying to do. Biting satire, nasty gore, weird plot, memorable characters, goes very far, very hard all the time throughout the entire movie. There are no punches to be pulled here. That's what this movie should have been, in my opinion. If you're a fan of trauma movies, 1, you may have already seen this, so, good on you. 2, average audience person, the novelty of what this is might get you in there and give you a little bit of entertainment, but I'm looking at what this could have been instead of what was actually on the floor here. Oh, well. Maybe we'll try again with... God, does Trauma actually even have any other franchises worth revisiting? No, they do not. Sorry, Turd and Kabuki Man. I think the last time you turned up was in the 4th Toxic Avenger movie. And there you will stay. At least you're not full moon these days. Ooh, boy. You think I smell bad. Woo. Anyway, like and subscribe, etc., etc. Draw me porn. You can draw me porn if you want to. Like, you won't get paid for being drawing me porn unless I commission you. But you can commission me to draw you porn. You can draw my Patreon. See porn I draw on the daily. Semi-daily. Help support me do this stupid things. Support more of my live action stuff. Maybe I'll eat some food on camera and go, ooh, nom nom nom. Oh no, this tastes bad. Oh, that's an entertainment thing for most people on the internet. I can probably stop talking. Goodbye. Go away. Bye-bye. I'm gonna go hump this trash bag. That's a movie. Trash Humpers. Don't watch that.